interference yet, so that's good. That was insane. Can you believe that? That like how crazy that was? Like that was so wild, dude. Can you? I mean, like, can you hear me good and everything?
I hear you good. It looks like they hit us, man, and really tried to make that start really messed up.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah, I'm just gonna share this out to the Discord and Telegram groups real quick, and I'll cut out the YouTube. But hey guys, we're live, and we actually did get started. I'm just gonna give like a minute for people to get in the chat, and before I give Drago his introduction here, I'll share the link out to the Discord and Telegram groups. But yeah, they tried to hit us. I just got a message from Christy Campbell. She told me that she said that when she did a podcast with you, she had the same thing. She said you guys had to start over 3 times. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically, we did a personal kind of video about her results, about her memory and what she everything she's discovered since then, and she's been sending me a lot of drawings and photos and like all kinds of stuff. Like that girl has some great memory, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, they've
it's
hit us every
amazing.
time. Like I've been getting hit every single other video. Like it's been really intense. Like I did an interview with Peter the Insider with the ACIO, and they were hitting us constantly. They hit Peter with a scalar weapon, and he got really sick, and he had to end the chat. And then it's been nonstop problems. All the stuff I found out with the ACIO and stuff, man, it's been pretty intense, man. And they've hit Jessica Morocco and Peter and me simultaneously sometimes and knocked all of our networks out, and we couldn't even reconnect back to our networks till the next day.
Wow, that's insane. That's insane. Like what okay, let me give you a proper introduction real quick. And guys, I have with me Drago Reid, and I was trying to explain before we got interrupted by crazy. And if by the way, guys, if you guys are found this link, if you could share it in the Discord and Telegram groups, because like I'm seeing how many people are in here. Yeah, if you guys could share it in the Discord and Telegram groups, that'd be great. And who I have with me is Drago Reid. I saw him on Laura Eisenhower's show. I saw him on Matthew Morning's show, and I became really interested in talking to him. He's an amazing person. He's a Dolores Cannon level 2 quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner. He's also a polymath, an adept researcher, a deep dive investigator with over 2 decades of study in ufology, astrobiology, exopolitics, consciousness, quantum physics, mechanics, philosophy, galactic history, abductions, the Anunnaki, the military industrial complex, the Illuminati, and the Freemasons, and it goes on and on. He's also a Project MK Ultra Mind Deep programmer with such groups like Monarch, Kruger, Nachwaffen, Secret Space Program. And today we're going to be getting into his story and what happened to him exactly. And yeah, I just want to give him a big warm welcome to the show. Drago, thank you for coming on. How are you?
Doing good now that we're connected and we're not experiencing any technical difficulties, so I'm stoked.
Yeah. Did you want to, before we start off, did you want to tell people like what you're doing with Laura Eisenhower? I think that's really interesting what you guys are able to do, or what the podcast you're trying to do, or you are doing.
Yeah, I've basically known for Laura about a decade now, and we've always kind of chatted behind the scenes and seen each other at all the shows, and we just kind of kept in contact here and there, and it kind of all coalesced with her coming into town for the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection. And she's such an awesome person that she bought me a ticket to that show. That was like, I think around $500. She's like, Drago, I know you didn't have plans on coming, but here's your ticket and it's non-refundable, so you got to come. So I did. Met a bunch of show hosts. I met Aaron and Tyler of Journey to Truth, all kinds of people, man. Met Daryl James there for the first time, interviewed him on episode 4. It's been pretty good, man. But basically Laura came down and I tattooed her for like 3 days. And we were just on a walk and she's like, oh my God, man, like we have to start a show. And then that was that. Like, and I just, that was everything I've always wanted, like to start a show with Laura Eisenhower, man. Like that's such a humbling honor to be part of anything with her, man. And like, if you've seen her at the shows, she gets standing ovations all the time. She's one of the very few presenters and lecturers that really connect emotionally to the audience. And like, she really stands out that way. Like, she speaks with her heart. And like a lot of lecturers, they don't do that. Like, and that's how you connect with real people. You speak with your heart, man. And like, it's been awesome since then. Man, just the journey that we're starting now, and like all the plans we have, and like what's coming in the next couple of years, like it's pretty awesome, man. But
Where did your journey begin? Like, how did you get into this alternative media? You've been amassing knowledge for a while, it seems like. It seems like you've been at it, like trying to figure out what this reality is and what's actually going on for a while. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about tonight. But like, how long has it been, and like, and what got you into it?
that's a very multifaceted question. Let's kind of start. Let's fast forward to now. What I'm discovering about my connections to Black Ops and special access programs within the secret space program, right? So imagine being 13 years old and like you don't have a lot of memories, but at that moment in time, you don't realize you have this memory loss. It takes years to find out, going through childhood, becoming a teenager and into adult, that a lot of these memories are gone. So during this progression of my life, I always seem to get messed with by the law. It's always Johnny Law messing with me, man. And like, it started making me learn law, learn the Constitution, learn true law. So that started my entire law pursuit, and it's been an obsession my entire life. So I would say that I've been studying law for 23 years, 24 years straight. And I'm pretty well read on those subjects and all the things that form law. So going to there with my story, you asked me, how did it all start?
Yeah.
My awakening, basically, okay, so I would say my awakening started with mushrooms. Back in 1999, 2000, I was 19 or 20. And I remember connecting deeply with something I didn't understand. And at that point, I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God. I had like a very lonely life, didn't have a father to raise me. He left a long time ago. So it was one of those lonely pursuits to find who you are with no role model to really guide you, if that makes sense. My mom was always going working, busting her ass off, always working full time. So that makes basically the kid alone. So all I had was books. I just read books. And by, I think it was 6th grade, I had took a challenge to read 250 hours of books to get a ticket to Six Flags. And I achieved that challenge. And I remember being so poor that getting this ticket to Six Flags was like, that was like my life awesomeness, to go to Six Flags, man. And I think it was like a season pass. So that started my pursuit of knowledge. So going in a little bit later, at 23, I started seeing UFOs in the skies. And the first moment, I had a witness directly next to me. So at that point, I'm coming off of the mushrooms, connecting to consciousness, opening my mind, making me see the connections to everyone and everything around me. Then suddenly I see a freaking UFO in the sky. And I started communicating with it. I actually started telling it to go certain directions and stop, and it actually worked. So at that point, I'm like, okay, so atheist, did my shrooms, I'm waking up to consciousness. There's ETs in the sky. It's obviously proof there was someone next to me. We're both freaking out. Then that goes to 2 years later, 2005, my motorcycle crash. I broke a bunch of bones. I almost lost my left leg down to the bone of my left knee. And it was a pretty gnarly scar till I tattooed that thing solid. I really wish I would have left the scar because I love scars. But that bump on my head gave me these abilities that I didn't really know I had at the time, because it took years to process all the brain damage I got from the injury, the motorcycle crash. I actually damaged the parietal lobe of my brain, the occipital lobe, the reticular activation system, all kinds of stuff. It originally made me OCD, which I defeated within less than a year. That is crazy. So it gave me several upgrades along with other things that would balance it and keep me grounded, like dyslexia, OCD, stuff like that, right? But it also bumped my IQ up. And it also made me see in slow motion. And my reactions are insane. It's like I can go between time and my body is so fast that I'm faster than gravity. That's how I like to explain it. So like, if you were to knock a glass over in front of me on a table and I was within reach, I could calculate if it's physically possible for me to whip my arm and catch that thing mathematically to a precise kind of moment. And it's like lightning. And that's how my reflexes are like freaking lightning. So fast forward to getting into quantum healing. I've had a lifelong of pain. I've had physical pain since 2005. That's when I had my motorcycle crash. And that's been unbearable. And lifelong pain. I hardly sleep at all. I'm lucky if I sleep 3 hours a night. Last night, I don't remember falling asleep at all. And that's pretty jacked. You know, you lay in bed for like 8 hours and then you don't sleep. So it's that mixing with everything I'm learning with the QHHT sessions, with all the super soldiers I've been doing, because I basically got in the field of super soldiers. That subject really intrigued me, the secret space program, all that stuff. For some reason, I've followed those subjects my whole life. And I would say within the last 10 years, it's all secret space program. So the last 5 or 6, I've been focusing my career on doing a lot of people in the secret space programs and verifying if these people are legit in these programs or if they're going to be debunked. Because when you put people under with hypnosis, it's easy to tell if someone's lying. It's not hard with hypnosis. Like it's a procedure that you go through hypnosis and it produces very specific results every time. So if someone changes a pattern under that hypnosis, it's obvious because we don't tell them the rules of what hypnosis is. So if they break any of those rules, that's how we as hypnotists, we know if you're not under. We know if you're not to that level of trance yet, or if you're just not even where near to theta and you're more into alpha. That's like the first altered state. So
I have a question, more like a statement. My friend Maya, she does like BQH and aura hypnosis. Now I've been under like 7 or 8 times, so I know the power of it. It's really like transformational. It's really helped me a lot as well. I feel like it's the wave of the future. I feel like I think this should be recognized into like mainstream science, that more people should be doing QHHT for all kinds of things like alien abduction recall, SSP. Even if people want to like lose weight or quit smoking, I think it could help for like the basic hypnosis stuff. Do you agree with all that, or what do you think?
you know what's funny? I'm just realizing, and it took the conversation right now to come to this conclusion that I've done over 500 sessions now, and I hit my 500th session, I think, like less than a month ago, and I've never once had someone come there to specifically lose weight or to quit smoking. And that's what most hypnotists do. They do that light level stuff it's not the major stuff. Like I pride myself in taking the most damaged people, the people that have no memories, the abductees, people in these programs, the one that's been mind fractured. Like I'm one of the only people in QHHT that is doing people with alters. Because Dolores Cannon's original rules was we're supposed to stay away from that stuff, because I don't think Dolores understood the complexities of government programs and how they were creating people through fracturing them through drug abuse or physical torture, deprivation, it doesn't matter, right? So I kind of did what Dolores said not to do. I started seeking those people out. And I started realizing that not only can they go under, but a lot of them do know the difference between reality and make-believe, right? So a lot of these people I started putting under, I started figuring out that it's not just schizophrenic stuff. It's people are connected to the other spiritual world. It's like something happened to them and a filter was removed and now they can see dead people. And like we're verifying this with QHHT. I'm talking to these people that they're talking to, and we're having intelligent conversations between the higher self, the other being, and my client.
I got a
So at
question.
that point, Mhm.
I was going to say, and I mean, I was going to say, do you think a lot of this stuff is happening in parallel realities when people are having these SSP experiences? And also, I wanted to ask you, has it made you more skeptical of the SSP, or has it made you more of a believer as to what's going on?
Okay, so this subject is very convoluted, and I don't think a single human possesses the entirety of any story and or what time actually is and what dimensions are. So
I
I
agree.
believe that a lot of these projects like Montauk, we started doing time travel projects through Montauk. We took a seed off a craft that crashed, and we realized certain kids have the abilities to activate this craft and open up a portal. And what were we just talking about? I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna tell the audience right now, my brain injury, if I lose my train of thought on every show and every conversation. So if you just remind me what I was talking about, I will. It's like
We were
hitting.
talking about SSP and Montauk and like
Okay,
if
so
it's
time. So a lot
yeah.
of this is time ops. So I have physically experienced this myself. Apparently I'm involved in time ops, and I'm basically inventing all this portal tech for these SSP programs, and they're using my inventions, and they've been doing this since before I was born. Okay, not before I was born. They identified me pre-birth. I came into this timeline. I wasn't supposed to be in this timeline, but they found me. This is what we've discovered through all the QHHT I've done and all the people I've put under and all the people that remember me. So I remember it was like 5 years old. They're having me open portals, and they're threatening to kill me. They put me through a trauma program, and they basically threatened to obliterate my soul. And they convinced me that that's possible in a way. I don't believe the soul can be obliterated, but they have ways to trap the soul, and they can hold it for a very long time. And basically the portal stuff, we're going into these different realities, and you have to understand a lot of these people that have these memories, these SSP people with these claims, these experiencers, they're experiencing other realities, just like in the series Fringe. So they're experiencing real events that aren't happening in our timeline because it's a completely different time stream. It's a completely different reality. It's very, very similar, but there's like Mandela and butterfly effects. For example, like I don't recognize this timeline at all. There's so many Mandela effects that it's crazy. I don't recognize it. I think that the timeline I'm in, I feel like it's the movie Idiocracy, where everything's getting stupid and everything's becoming a play, and like it's turning out just like the movie. And like I feel like humanity is getting dumber to an extent. And instead of seeing this awakening that we're going through, they're only focusing on these little dramas of this little false flag here and this false flag here and certain wars. We talked about that earlier. And like, they're all distractions. And I tell people all the time, if you stop focusing on the theater, you can live your own play. Because that's what Dolores found out. We're the producer, we're the director, and we're the writer and actor of our own play. We made agreements and contracts before we incarnated to have certain things happen to us during this life, certain catalysts, certain people, certain negative experiences, amazing moments, people we would fall in love with, right?
I agree. I agree. It seems like that, right? So what are you seeing a lot with the people that you're putting under? Like, I know it says here that like a lot of people have connection to SRA, like satanic ritual abuse, mind control programming, MK Ultra, Monarch, Knockboffins, Kruger, all that. You're seeing all that stuff, I guess.
On a regular basis, and I interact with those people on a regular basis. And it's pretty
Wow.
crazy, man, because like just Kruger, for example, Peter the Insider was one of the first ones to start talking about Kruger. And a lot of people have wrote books based on Peter's material, and they've literally used it as their own. Some of them credited Peter in the beginning of their book, but they never credited a lot of information. So a lot of SSP history that you see on YouTube, a lot of that came from Peter.
I got a question. Is Peter the Insider the same person as Peter Moon, or are those two different people?
Is Peter Moon Slovakian with a thick accent?
No, Peter
Peter the
Moon's a,
Insider, he's never shown his face ever in public. He does videos with Jessica Morocco, and he's in the level 12 division. Jessica's in the level 6 division. And it's basically 2 levels away from NSA. So you have Special Access Program 1, which would start being the military industrial complex, stuff like that. Then you have Special Access 2, which would be like the ACIO. So, like I said, a lot of the Kruger information, a lot of the stuff about the German programs, Nachtwaffen, a lot of that originated from him. So at this point, I realized that a lot of the SSP stuff, he was talking about this a long time ago. So I knew I had to go to Peter myself. And it took me 3 months to set up an interview to do it with Jessica. Just constant emails, because she would explain here and there that they're always doing ops. And when she finally did it, the moment we connected, she remembered me from the programs and being on ops with her. And then the same thing with Peter. The second interview we did, Peter comes on with her, and he's freaking out, man. And like, I'll never forget, because it's like he could never just calm down, because he was shocked he was seeing me on a video across from him. Because last time he saw me, I disappeared on an op, and he don't know what happened to me. And then suddenly I randomly connect with him on the internet for the first time. He's never heard of me in this life, in this body, right? And then boom, he finds me. And then that leads on the 3rd week of doing interviews with him and Jessica every single Monday. I think we talked around 15 hours in 3 weeks. On the 3rd week, he starts getting access to footage and archives from me in the programs and me in the dumbs and all kinds of stuff, and verifying other people's stories that say that we did QHHT with, that I verified that they knew me in the dumbs or the programs, right? He knew about all that. So it's been an interesting ride, man, because up till June, Contact in the Desert, I did not know that I was from an Earth-based program, something like Earth-based SSP, like stuff like that. I thought I was space-based, coming from what we're doing out here, incarnating here to make change. That's what I thought I was doing. And it turns out that was the original plan, but they intercepted me at birth. They pre-identified me, then they abducted me, and they gave me the nasty abductions, you know.
I have a question. One thing you brought up a couple times was the ACIO. What is that? I've never heard of that for some reason.
Have you ever heard of the Wing Makers?
No, this is all new to me for some reason. And I interview a lot of SSP people.
Definitely go down that rabbit hole. Basically, it involves time travel. The Wing Makers are from the future, and they came back in time and they left certain information for us to find. That's the modern ACIO. And
is this kind of like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Is this kind of like the information that Frank Jacob brings forward with the why can't I think of it now? The Looking Glass project. Is it kind of like that?
It's the same projects. It all deals with the same looking glass technology. Looking Glass they were doing in Montauk. And then they really went back in time. Like, it is crazy what they did going back in time to fix things in the modern time, which caused all these splits in the time stream. So the more they used the kids, because only certain kids had these abilities and it was in their DNA, it's energetic. You're born with it because it's energy. So certain energies like mine, I come from something that's called the Golden Phoenix Fire. So you can identify that because it's a frequency. When it's coming to incarnate on Earth, it's automatically flagged. You know what I'm saying? Certain energies. And apparently I couldn't hide from that. So like, they've had me my whole life, and I was unaware of a lot of this until I really, I guess my higher self made a determination that I'm now okay to know this stuff, because a lot of these SS people, they're flying out, coming to see me, and it turns out I know all of them from these programs. So there's been a change in momentum for my life, and I'm starting to discover a lot right now. It's pretty insane, man.
Someone mentioned someone on the show, James Mahu. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Okay. He I guess he was in the Ringmakers project too. That I'm trying to
Have you heard of A.R. Borden?
Yes, yeah, I've had Michael Lee Hill. Matter of fact, I think I have Michael Lee Hill coming on my show tomorrow
Okay,
or
so
Thursday. Yeah.
Michael Lee Hill, ask him about the ACIO. He's directly involved in the ACIO. He talks about the ACIO all the time. So the ACIO stands for the Advanced Contact Intelligence Organization, or Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. And technically it's a classified special access program. But A.R. Borden, Michael knows so much knowledge because Michael has been acknowledged by the Indian nation that he's an incarnation of Enki.
I agree. I agree. And one thing I was gonna say was Michael, where was I going with that? I just had a mind wipe. I just had a total mind wipe. But that's what I was going to say was the Anunnaki has something to do with this for sure. Like, do they play a role,
Correctly.
like their descendants in like the time travel projects that go on? Like, I know Michael talks about that he met Marduk, and Marduk had something to do with something or other had to do with like some of the projects. And I know I've interviewed Arkeem Ross, so this ties into what he says as well. And he says at Montauk that Marduk had a big hand to do with what was going on there. So I'm just kind of seeing if your information kind of matches up with that, or if you have anything to go off on that.
Okay, let's just say that I'm an Anunnaki super nerd. So I researched the Anunnaki the most heavily. I would say MK Ultra's number 2, Anunnaki's number 1, because I found out that I used to be Anunnaki. And
I love the Anunnaki too. I
only
the story.
really learned that this year. And I just thought we found out through QHHT that a lot of the civilizations you're obsessed with, turns out you were there almost every time. It's like you're trying to rediscover the memories of being there, and your subconscious knows you were there, but Robert's conscious doesn't know he was there. So with the hypnosis and stuff, we go to theta, we talk to the subconscious, and that's where all change happens. So this technique that I do, it's amazing. And you're right. You said earlier at the beginning of the show that QHHT, Beyond Quantum Healing, should be incorporated in Rockefeller medicine. I believe 100%. I tell this to doctors constantly because I have doctors and nurses coming to me to be healed. And the medical system has failed them. And they are dying. And it took them this lifelong pursuit to realize that they've been lied to. And it got to the point they're so desperate that they're really seeking help outside of Rockefeller medicine. And we're finding out that a single session can help you find out why you have cancer. It can help you figure out why you just lost the love of your life. And a lot of it's with contracts or you making timelines that were not originally part of what you were supposed to be doing, and it bifurcated.
One thing I've heard is the QHHT, when you go into a session, when you go into a deep hypnosis, I heard that it like flushes the lymphatic system. So like when it kind of refreshes the lymphatic system. So usually when people come out of a session, they might have to pee real bad. That's not just because you've been in a session for a long time. It's because your lymphatic system got flushed, and it's like kind of like a refresher on the body. I don't know if you would agree with that, or if you think that's right, or I don't know.
I agree with 100% because every QHHT session involves a body scan. And that basically, we're already talking to the higher self. So if I put you under, Robert, when you're under, Robert's consciousness will step to the side. Before I ask permission, I say, do I have permission to speak to your subconscious? You'll give me permission, either yes or no. At that point, I'll call upon your subconscious. That's all the power. That's everything you've ever experienced, every incarnation you ever had, your connection to source. That is the reason why they don't want people doing plant-based medicines and mushrooms and acid, because it connects to realms that are real. And they convinced us that they were all hallucinations until people like I'm mind farting. It's just every time you try to think of something, you can't think of it.
That happened to me. That happened to me too. Yeah.
All these pioneers, Terrence McKenna, Psychonaut, he's done so many mushrooms and so much LSD that he experienced a breakthrough, and they realized all the experiments they started doing where they would do controlled experiments with people doing the same drugs, they started finding out that these realms are real because everybody was describing the same stuff and the same experiences, meeting the same gods, lowercase g, not big G, the same beings, the same entities, like the mushroom elves. Everybody like laughs about the name mushroom elves, but why do people that when they are really doing high amounts of mushrooms, why do we meet the machine elves? And why is Mother Ayahuasca, why is she a dragon? Why does she come as a reptile? Why does everyone experience the same stuff?
Oh my God, I got to tell you about that. I had a DMT pen. I still have it here. I can use it. It's for I can use this for weed or DMT. So you just switch off the one, and right now there's weed in there. I ran out of DMT, but I took like 3 puffs off a DMT vape. I hit it, I held it in, I held it in, I held it in, and then all of a sudden everything the magic happens when you close your eyes. And when I closed my eyes, everything turned like geometric. It was almost like I was seeing like the structure of the matrix, if that
That is
exists,
the structure of the matrix. Yes, it is. It is.
And then I saw a dragon. I did see a dragon because I was wondering, I was doing the DMT and I was wondering why I wasn't seeing any beings, why I wasn't meeting. And I was wondering, do I have to go deeper? Do I have to go deeper? And I didn't want to go too deep because I didn't want to have like I'm afraid a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I'm a little bit afraid with drugs. So like I try to, like go to certain levels, but I'm afraid to take it to other levels. So I don't know because
that's where you experience breakthroughs. If you're only doing plant-based medicine, you have to get to the point where you have to relinquish the fear, because the trip you're going to experience, it's necessary no matter what it is. Whatever you're going to see, it's something your subconscious is showing you that maybe you have to battle, or you have to push through it, man. That's it. It's kind of like you're a being in the water, and you're evolving to the point where you're starting to drown in that water and you can no longer breathe it. So you know that something's pulling you to the oxygen and hitting that barrier. It's like on our screen here, this is where it divides between the picture of you and the picture of me. Imagine me coming out this water and I hit this density and shoot up for the first time. That's what it's like. Breaking through. It's like going through something that you didn't think was possible, and once you step from it, man, it's transcending. It's like entering a different density, kind of like going from water to oxygen.
So it's all possible in the realms of psychedelics. The same. So do you think the realm that we go to when we go to psychedelics, or when we take psychedelics, is that same realm we access in the QHHT realm? Like, it's like that altered, almost theta space, like it's the theta brainwave. It's like the trance state almost. Is that kind of what we're shooting for on both?
We're basically entering the astral. So when you do these they're not hallucinogenic. When you do these plant-based medicines, what did you just ask me?
Like if the astral and
yeah, so you're literally going to the astral. So when I do a past life regression on you, you're technically leaving your body and you're traveling through time, connected to your silver astral cord that is literally connected to Robert's body if you're laying back on a couch. So your astral body is leaving and going into time. And people need to understand that time is a man-made construct, and it does not exist outside of this. We are the only beings in existence that has seemed to found a way to measure something that doesn't even exist. Because outside this holographic matrix, you're eternal.
You know what I just thought of? I'd love to see. I'd love to. You know what? I wish you should incorporate in your business is like, or your practice. I don't want to say business because you're helping people, but like you should incorporate. If it was legal, this would be amazing for people to do. Is to have people enter psychedelic states, like beyond psychedelics or plant-based medicines, and then do the QHHT on top of that and see where it takes people. I mean, because I know I've done shrooms and I went through QHHT sessions. Like I just happened to be on shrooms and I've done QHHT sessions and it was amazing, but I'm not an experiencer, or at least I don't have memories yet. People keep telling me I am, but I don't have memories yet. So I can't say that I am yet. I feel like I'm a targeted individual. I know that much, but I'm not, I don't see myself in the secret space program yet, at least. I don't have any memories of it. But I am a psychonaut and I am a targeted individual though. Have you been heavily targeted for what you've been doing? Have you noticed that?
More than you can imagine, man. More stuff than I can speak of publicly. But yeah, it's been a very painful life. It's been very mental, it's been very physical, and I've lost a lot.
Yeah.
It's been my whole damn life surrounded by death and pain.
Yeah, oh, so I'll go back to this. So what do the Anunnaki have to do with these time travel projects? Is it kind of like what everybody's saying that Marduk has from what you know, or yeah, I'll go with that.
Let's just say that the Earth is leased to the Anunnaki from the Draco. The Draco technically own all of our solar system, and they're leasing it. And Lil's mom is Draco, so that's where the whole reptilian part of like the Anunnaki comes from. It's just like people always think that the Anunnaki are these one group of people that are like humans, you're right, and it's not even like that. They were different star nations. It was a mix of different beings from different nations, and this is where a lot of the story gets really rabbit holey, because a lot of the generations of the Anunnaki were mixed with our history, were mixed with other beings. And a lot of it was done that way for misinformation. So part of the history is correct, part of the history is incorrect. Kind of like if you ever look at the genealogy of the Anunnaki up. Depending on what source you're looking at, all the genealogies, it's all mixed up. They'll say that Marduk is from here, but then Marduk would be this person's uncle, and then another graph you'll see, whoever's writing an Anunnaki book will say, no, this is incorrect. This is this is that. So it's really tough with all that. But the ACIO connection to the Anunnaki, A.R. Borden was talking to the Anunnaki on a regular basis. And this is where the United States came up with the term Sam. The original name of the Anunnaki is the Sahami.
Yes.
That's what they call themselves. They don't actually refer to themselves as Anunnaki. Anunnaki means descendants of Anu. It says they came from heaven to earth, right? Heaven was the name of Anu. That was another name of Anu. So it wasn't just literally coming from space. They are the direct descendants of Anu, of the Anunnaki. That's why they call them the Anunnaki. Because the first father would be Anu. They would be called a completely different race. If it was grandpa, if it was his grandpa, he would have a completely different name, and the Anunnaki wouldn't even be Anunnaki, because like in Egypt, you had all these different sects of different Anunnaki factions. Like you had the Inkites and the Enlilites, and they all fought with each other. Two different groups. You had Set versus Horus, Set versus Osiris, which was the two different sets of pyramid wars in Egypt. And that led between the brothers splitting and Thoth going to South America. But
So
like,
did you follow the work of Gerald Clark? I was a big fan of his. I was wondering if you got into him.
I know that name. What information is he talking about?
He wrote the books The Anunnaki of Nibiru, and then he wrote a book called The Seven Planet Mercury Rising. He was way ahead of his time. Like he used to do shows on Leap Project and stuff. He died. He was like, some people say he was targeted, and maybe heavily targeted for like some, because he was speaking out against the New World Order and the Khazarians and stuff like that. And people think he might have went a little bit too far, and that might have ended up getting him targeted. But
How long ago was he talking about the Anunnaki?
He wrote his first book in 2013, I think, and then he was like one of the first people to start bringing it to the internet. Like he was one of the first people to start doing podcasts on it and stuff like that. He was doing it with Rex from Leak Project, and then he was doing it with Jay Campbell and Billy Carson and Matt LaCroix. Like that's where Matt LaCroix got his start from, was Gerald Clark. People don't know that, but now Matt's on a whole different level. Matt's like coming up with I don't know if you saw Matt's new information. It's amazing. Like the information he came up with Turkey, he's basically nailed down a spot where he said that's where Noah's Ark was, and then the descendants of Noah settled in that area of Turkey, right where Göbekli Tepe was at, and there's some other places there. And then he mentions a king. His name was King Qhht, who's like a direct descendant of Enlil. I think it's pretty amazing stuff, you know. So Matt's went on a whole different level with the Anunnaki. It seems like, you know, I don't. That's what it seems to me, you know.
Yeah, like Matt likes to talk about, he talks about Ashurbanipal, and he talks about all the original parts where basically the Anunnaki started, like in Eridu and stuff like that. And a lot of these major temples, they've been looted. Like there's been no official project for a lot of the Anunnaki stuff, and there's no official protection. So there's no security. A lot of these old ziggurats, and like one of the original ones, the ziggurat in Ur, and that's basically, I think, northern Iraq. And Saddam knew about the Anunnaki, and he also knew about the goddess vortex portals that was there within Iraq and Syria and all the other the Stargate project. Like, can you imagine that Saddam knew that the place that he was overseeing was started by the Anunnaki, and they had original portal systems there, and this is where all the Stargate movies come from. And this is one of the reasons why the United States took over all that. It wasn't just for oil and the whole false flag with even entering the war with weapons of mass destruction. It was way bigger than that. The petrol part of it, the oil part of it, was the funding mechanism. But to have control of the technology and the vortexes and the portals there, whoever controls them basically control the planet. Those are some of the big portal systems on the planet.
I agree. And you know what was proof of that was the fact that Saddam had like Enki on his their Iraqi dinar. He had an Anunnaki figure on their dinar. So it was like showing like that they knew. Like they wouldn't have had that if they wouldn't have known, you know. So that's very telling, I think. You know, it's very interesting. Like I think you're definitely onto something there. Like I think we definitely went in from 9/11 for the portal systems. Like do you think we found that technology?
Why do you think we ransacked everything? We took all the stuff with the Anunnaki and all the technologies that he was holding. I'm talking about Saddam, that he was aware of. Like a lot of this was bargaining chips. Like, you really don't think with the Jedi program, with the stuff that Russell Targ was involved with remote viewing and like making psionic assassins with the United States Army. And this was happening in the 70s. They proved, even in MK Ultra, that certain psychics can target people remote viewing wise and they can kill them. So why would they allow Saddam to stay alive in the first place? It's like the Osama bin Laden thing. Like everybody thought they knew where Osama was, and it took all these years to find him. Do you really think that all of our top remote viewers didn't know where he was at all times?
Oh, there's proof of it. I just brought this out. Like I had Ed Dames on my show, who was he was the remote viewer who used to come on Coast to Coast back in the day. And when I was researching the show, I found a show that he did in 2004 where he was talking about, before they found bin Laden, he was talking about that bin Laden was in Pakistan. And that's where bin Laden ended up being. But he said, he also told me, he dropped a bomb on my show. He said he knew where Muhammad Atta was. He said Muhammad Atta, the orchestrator of the 9/11 attacks, is living in Egypt with his father. But then he wouldn't go into it more. And I said, I need to know more, but he wouldn't go into it. He said he was never on those planes, which is interesting, you know, but he left it there. He wouldn't, you know, I gotta dig more and find out what's going on with that, you know, for sure.
So I mentioned those types of abilities with certain psychics because Peter told me that I have the same damn ability to do that.
Is that from your wreck that caused these abilities?
No, that's from me being in the programs.
Okay.
That's one of the skills that was activated from torture from DNA. It's a psionic ability.
Yeah.
He says basically I'm like an airbender. Like I can channel physical material, physical particles, and I can use them if I'm activated. So like if I'm on an op or something and something is about to kill me, it would activate this. And it comes that way. It's not like you're this Jedi And you have so much mind control that you could be like, open door, and the door opens. You know what? Because that's a form of psionic energy. You're psionically, there's no difference between a door and a human being. They are both source consciousness. They have the same amount of particles. The empty spaces are the exact same. So knowing that, I'm looking at consciousness. So take a wall, for example. If you can really reverse engineer what walls are, and they're only a projection of the internal mind, you can walk through a wall because you realized consciousness controls the waveform and it becomes a particle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is a lot of stuff they teach you in the programs. They teach you that there's only thought, there's only consciousness, and everything around us physically doesn't actually exist. The table that I'm slapping, making my screen move, it doesn't even exist. It's a bunch of particles holding hands that are 99.99999% empty.
So it's a holographic universe, right?
Everything is holographic in nature. So if you can know the rules that everything is holographic and everything is connected through the mind, we found that out with quantum entanglement. You take two particles, you can separate them between dimensions and time and space, millions of years, and you can have instantaneous communication, period. Because they realize that everything is the mind of source. All the empty space we perceive of darkness and empty space, it's not empty. It's source's mind. So is the chair we're sitting on. Like we are source. We are a fractal of source. We create the projections everywhere around us. And like, that's what manifesting is. If you fear a lot of stuff, you create it physically in your life because it's holographic in nature, and emotional energy is the most powerful. So fear attracts the fastest. Love is a slow vibration. Love will come slower than fear. Fear will manifest instantly. If that makes sense. If you focus on something extremely, it's going to keep happening. If you keep thinking, I'm a targeted individual, they're always attacking me that way, it's going to keep manifesting, because if you think about it constantly, the rules of the universe says it has to happen. So you got to be careful with even your thoughts. Even me speaking brain damage. I don't like to say that a lot because every time I say I have brain damage, it further enforces my reality in my physical body, in my neurons and my axons, and how I communicate with all information. And it puts that firewall, that restriction on it, simply because I keep reinforcing it. But the issue is, how do you tell someone you have brain damage on a regular basis on a show without saying brain damage? It's damn near impossible. So I always watch my words no matter what.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I feel like we have a large control over what we can determine our reality, right? Like we can manifest our reality to a very large extent. But then it seems like there's like these X factors that come into play. Like something will happen in your life that you didn't expect to happen, or you weren't even thinking about at all, and it's like a curveball that the Matrix sends you. Do you know what I mean? I wonder where that stuff comes from. Or is that stuff that's written into our contract, if that makes any sense?
Some of it's the power of manifestation. If you're in this job where all you think about is how much money you don't make and how eventually you're going to say, I know I got to quit this job. I'm so damn miserable. You're going to have all these circumstances that keep leading up to you getting out of there. So the universe puts situation and people in your life knowing it's a way to take you out. If you're in a toxic relationship, it's going to find a way to show you to leave that relationship. And if you don't, it's going to escalate to physical pain. That's what physical pain is with the human body. It's reminders from the spirit that we're messing up. Every burn, every time we stub our toe, one of two things are happening. We're distracted or we're upset about something every single time. And once you learn to be in the moment 100% of the time, you're no longer distracted, because being distracted is thinking about the past or thinking about what's going to happen in the future. And again, you go in that oven, you burn yourself really quick. You get all pissed off, you say a cuss word. But at that moment, I know, I am so sorry, fingers. I was distracted. I will do better next time. I will be in the moment next time. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. And I will kiss my hand. Then the burning feeling just goes away. I shit you not. I've done that so many times, and I apologize to. I said, thank you, physical body, for taking this trauma, this physical pain. It was my fault. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you, and I thank you. So it's like I'm bringing it forward, acknowledging it, versus being like, I burnt my goddamn hand. Look at it. It's so fucked up. And then I'm pissed off. I constantly think about how much it hurts, further reinforcing the physical pain. Does that make sense? That's what our reality is. It's an emotional construct. Whatever emotion you're putting out, it's empowered by your emotion because it's a frequency change. It's powered by frequency. You attract what you think about the most. It is that literal. So I watch my thoughts, man.
No, I think you're right. And you know, it was so funny. It's so interesting that we got into this conversation because I had Robert Stanley on last night and I was talking to him about this. It seems like, you know, I can manifest to a certain degree, and then I start getting sucked into the matrix and worried about my thoughts and worried about my life. And then as soon as that happens, like, you know, like the manifesting goes out the window. It's almost like you got to stay on it 24 hours a day and really believe it can happen. And if you really believe it can happen, it will happen. I feel like I really truly I feel like that. And you can't let the matrix problems get into invade your life, because if they do, it will overtake you, and then you won't be able to think properly. Therefore, your reality will turn to shit. Does that make any sense or no?
Yes. The secret is don't believe it. Start seeing it. Every major manifestor, every book I've ever read, I don't care who it is, period. They all say the same stuff. You can't imagine that you're going to achieve it. You have to know you already achieved it. You have to see yourself as Robert. You have to see the impact you made with the planet. You have to start seeing every place you went around the world and how many lives you changed, period. You've got to see in your mind, in the future, and you can see that you defeated the bad guys, that it doesn't matter how many times they try to take you down, delete you, shadow ban you, and muzzle you, period. And that's the premise of me and Laura's show. We're done with that. Step
I like
into
that.
power. See it. Then
We
you will believe it once you see it. So don't believe it and then you see it. You first must see it and then believe it. See it happening. I think about it. I try to do it every day. I try to imagine my life in the future of everything I've achieved, everything I've done. I say, I've achieved every dream I've ever made. Thank you, universe, for helping me see the potential in myself to do the things that I did. To thank you for helping me complete the things I did in this life. Thank you.
That's amazing. We got some questions from the audience. I was seeing if we could take a couple. Is that okay, or would you rather not? It's up to you.
I love doing questions, doing Q&As.
Okay. We'll take a couple. The first one is from Don Rogers. He wants to know, do you deal with the 144,000 at all? I think that relates back to Dolores Cannon's work, right?
The 144,000 are the ascended masters. Those are certain beings. So like Jesus, Krishna, Muhammad, all these would be part of the 144,000. And they say that you need 144,000 people to get to the ascended master level, to get to the point where they bring in mass consciousness awakening to that planet. So like, you have all these major gods that, like, let's take Archangel Michael, for example. Archangel Michael is an Anunnaki, and Michael is not who we thought he is. Michael's another name for Enki. The archangel names we're giving to the Christian Bible, and the Bible is written from Yahweh, which is Enlil, the main bad guy of the Anunnaki story. So you have a book 1 and book 2, Old Testament and New Testament. It's about the perception of the worst of the bad guy, talking about fighting with his brother, which he personified as a snake, which is Enki. And so it's about them warring with each other with kingship. So Yahweh is a lowercase g God. He is not source. Yahweh is a flesh and blood body that can die. And the thing about the Anunnaki is they mastered genetics millions and millions of years ago. And that's all they talk about. They talk about transferring their consciousness from one body to another. That's what Thoth talks about. You have the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. It says, starts out, I am King Thoth. I am Thoth, King of Atlantis. I basically built the pyramids. The Sphinx had my face on it before my brother struck it out and put his own face on it. And then we warred with each other. But like, the Christian religion was started by the Anunnaki. The Islamic religion was started by the Anunnaki. The Mormon religion was started by the Anunnaki. Every single one of those religions was started by Angel Gabriel. Yahweh Enlil sent Angel Gabriel to start an antithesis of Christianity, right? One of the original God names was Sin. Sin and Allah are the direct descendants of the Anunnaki, man.
Nanar Sin and Lil Sun, right?
Yeah, so one uses the symbol of the sun, the other uses the symbol of the moon. You have the Islamic religion with the moon. You have the other religion like Christianity as a symbol of the sun. It's all the same stuff. And you're going to find out if you go down the rabbit hole that Angel Gabriel gave the information to start Mormonism. And he forced Muhammad, that originally wrote all the Quran and all that stuff. He forced Muhammad to learn to read and write, to dictate word for word what Angel Gabriel was telling him. So you had a Christian angel start a religion that would then war with the same family. And it was for controlling the populations. You start the two biggest religions on the planet, you control both sides. You control almost any outcome, period. You keep the planet in a state of fear, a constant state of war. And that's all the Anunnaki's known for.
I agree. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I agree so much. I've been saying this, that the Anunnaki created the religions and they're responsible for everything that's going on today. Like, if you want to look at the conflict over in the Middle East, look no further than the Anunnaki, because they created the religions, right? I mean, I'm just kind of just repeating what you
the
said.
Sumerian tablets literally say they created religion. You have to understand this, man. 6,000 years ago, we started finding Sumerian tablets. 8,000 years ago, right? That was that's the first writing we ever found. This is pre-hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics didn't even exist yet because Egypt was the children of the Anunnaki, period. So you have the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. That tablet was dated to be 36,000 BC, written on a green crystal in Atlantean. People that don't think that Atlantis existed, wake up, man. Why do you think we call it the Atlantic Ocean? That was the main part of Atlantis. A lot of people don't realize that Atlantic and even Atlanta was the capital of Atlantis. So you have Atlanta, Georgia. That's one of the capitals over here of the Anunnaki. It's kind of like Memphis, right? Memphis was the capital of Egypt. Anunnaki started music. They started writing. They started agriculture, animal husbandry, plumbing, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, everything. It was Marduk that named the constellations in the sky. That was one of his jobs.
This is fascinating stuff, and I agree with everything you said. I honestly do. I think you're so on point. It's unbelievable, and I think the audience is really feeling it too. The next question, we'll do a couple more. The next question is from Christy Campbell. She's in the audience. I know you guys know each other.
Hey, Christy, love you, girl.
Yeah, she says, did Drago find out if his oversoul is Anubis?
She kept seeing that. Everything she sees psychically, she says that I'm a dog man. And she sees that I have an Anubis clone sitting in a deep underground military base. And she seems to think that I'm possibly connected to that original being. That's one of the rabbit holes I will be going down. That's been on my mind a lot because more than a few people has referred to me as like the werewolf being. And it turns out that like I've been obsessed with, like, you've seen the movie Underworld Evolution, right?
Yeah.
It's vampires versus the werewolves. I never seen myself being the vampire, man, because like everybody, they have this it's like they see the vampires as luxury life and like this eternal love and stuff, but all they do is kill. They can never see sunlight. They can never see true beauty, right? That I can't relate to that, man. I always see myself as I'm the beast. I'm transmuting into a beast, hair and all. And that is my primordial body, man, because humans are just animals. We've just been brainwashed to believe that we're not like other animals. We've created this hierarchy where we think we're above these other animals, but we're not, because they possess the same consciousness we do. Does that make sense? Even an ant, it feels pain. A fish feels pain. We found that out with QHHT sessions. People have been shown life as fish or single-celled organisms, and they experience dreams. They experience desires and fear and physical pain. So I became a vegetarian because, like, I can't harm another being, man. I don't care what it is. Even the most smallest that people would want to harm because it's ugly, like a spider on your wall in your house. Any girlfriend I've ever had, they're like, you've got to be the one that kills that spider. I'm like, I will not take that thing's life simply because you are scared of it. That's something you need to heal from, because it will not hurt you. And I will prove it as so much as I will go pick it up with my hand and let it crawl on me, and I'll take it outside because I only see myself, that reflection of consciousness and everything else around me. So like I was saying in the last show, I realized that all the enemies in my mind I thought I had, it was only internal perceptions of stuff I was battling with, and I have no real enemies. They only exist within your mind because all of this is fractal, holographic in nature. So no one's out to get you unless there's a contract. If you sign a contract before you incarnated, yes, someone will be out to get you, and you cannot run from it because you made an agreement to go through that experience to get taught something. So you have to walk into that fear. If my top 3 fears was sharks, heights, and losing a very specific loved one. And I lost all the loved ones. The shark story, I just decided to swim with them. I went to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, and random sharks started coming. And like, it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life to see a shark that close and look into its eyes and only see beauty, man. And it changed me. And before that, my fear of heights, I started bungee jumping, and then I started jumping off cliffs, and then I started skydiving.
Oh, that's scary. That shit scares me.
Oh my God.
I don't know how you do it. That's insane.
Skydiving.
That's insane. That shit scares the shit out of me.
I fell in love with skydiving, man. Skydiving is better than sex, hands down.
Can I tell you something? I think I have a fear of, I think I've made to explore this in a past life regression. I always have a fear of falling. So I think I've died past lives.
That's how it works.
Where I fell to my death. And you know what? Another thing I wanted to tell you was, I think that we're living, I've said this in past shows, I think we've already lived this exact life before. So a lot of people think, you know, like, yeah, it's like we're not living necessarily in the past and the future. We could have lived these exact lives, I think. And maybe we've messed up and we have to come back and do it again. Like this, I've been robbed before in a different life and things went a different way. Or what do you think about that?
I had a client that I put under, and she was told that she's experienced the same life over 50 times, the same circumstances, the same physical abuse. Her husband was very physical and always threatened to kill her. He was physically abusive, and she was always in fear of leaving. And over 50 lives in a row, she didn't learn her lesson. And she was in so much fear from the programming of experiencing that and not ever complete. It's like playing a video game. You play this level over and over and over again, and instead of doing different moves to achieve a different scenario, you make the same mistakes, making the same moves, getting the same results. That's freaking insanity. That's what Einstein would say. That's literally insanity. So yes, a lot of this stuff is like what's the Matrix glitch? The black cat. Then you see the black cat again. What's that called?
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah,
Deja vu.
Yeah,
So
deja
like the
vu.
deja
Yeah.
vus is showing that you did experience it already, and or you're psychically knowing what's going to happen. So I believe there's at least a couple of scenarios. Either you're that psychic and you've seen it happening right before it happened because you've seen it in a different, almost like a time lag. And then it physically happens in your perception exactly how you just saw it. Or it's something you remembered from a dream 5 years ago and it just happened literally. That happens to me all the time. I will experience something and I'll be like, in a minute, someone's about to walk around that corner and it fucking happens. Like, either that's precognition or that's reliving the same scenario again.
I would say the latter. I think we can have precognition moments too. I
I
don't
agree
doubt
with that.
that. But I
I
think
believe it's like, it feels like it happened exactly the way it just happened. And this time I'm remembering it this time.
so. What do you? I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were getting into skydiving. I'd love to hear about that real quick. I don't have too much time, but like, what drew you to skydiving?
That was my biggest fear. So I had to jump out of a plane. That was it. And you got to realize, man, like everybody's fear when it comes to jumping out of a plane, everybody always says this stupid comment, why would I jump out of a perfectly good plane? Like, come on, man. Like, we're an idiocracy. Stop saying the same response that everyone else says and stop fearing so much shit in your life and just step out of the damn plane. Because once you hit the bottom and you conquered the biggest fear in your life, that was probably the biggest obstacle you're ever going to face in your life. And nothing will compare to that.
But
Everything.
aren't you afraid of the chute not opening? Like,
If I made a contract to die with that parachute, then it is what it is, man. A lot of your death, you make a contract in order to die a specific way before you incarnate. So I give the analogy of 12,525 people all die in a tsunami in India because some underground earthquake. It turns out those people all made an agreement to all die the same way because we all experience the timeline we signed up for. So if you want to have the timeline where it goes post-apocalyptic and it's all nuclear war, that's what you're going to experience because the universe gives you what you want to experience. It's like your biggest fantasy. The human brain is only a receiver of information. So you have the ability with creative consciousness to create everything around you in extreme detail. But we don't know that, we're blocked. So you think everything's random, everything, we're a victim, everything is coming at me. No, you're in a power struggle where you have a vacuum that's being fulfilled because you're in victim mode. Therefore, you attract the victimization and the people coming at you because that's who you see you are. You don't expect anything else. Do you think a wolf walks around the woods in fear? Hell no. The wolf knows it's one of the top predators. Even a rabbit is aware it can be eaten, but it's not going to be in constant fear. If you see a rabbit in nature, it'll look at a predator and then it'll continue eating grass. You know what I'm saying? Because it can just be paralyzed in thought that that thing's going to eat me. Animals even know that. It's temporary. You see something and then you get on with it. But that's what the obstacle is, the path. That's what, Marcus Aurelius, like if there's an obstacle in your life, that is the path you must walk forward into, no matter what it is. Even if you think it'll destroy you, you have to walk it. If you're in that toxic job or relationship, you have to leave it because you're going to experience nothing but catastrophe if you stay in it. The universe is authorized to really hurt you in different ways, monetarily, physically, with physical injuries, and it'll just get worse and worse. It'll start surrounding you with toxic people that just suck your energy and your life away from you because you're not stepping out of the situation. It has to escalate. It has to get worse and worse until you snap mentally and you make a different decision. If it makes you unhappy, you're not supposed to be doing it, man. Period. I don't care if you're stuck in a relationship where you don't love your mate and there's kids involved and you're only staying because there's kids involved. Leave. Things will figure itself out. You can't live your life. You can't put your own life off for other people because one of the biggest regrets upon death is I lived for other people and I never lived for me. And that's almost everyone's regret. They lived for their entire family. They took care of their kids their whole life, but they never got to figure out themselves ever, because it was always about other people. Got to get to a point when you realize, what about me? Who's taking care of me? You got to get to that. Take care of yourself. Stop thinking yourself that you're a victim, and you attract the abundance of that point. Stuff starts coming out of nowhere. It's good and bad, but again, it's your thoughts.
Well, I think that's a good place to stop for today. I'd love to have you back, man. You're an amazing guest. Like we could get into, I'm sure we could talk for like 3 more hours. Like I could probably talk. I'd love to take some shrooms with you and see where the conversation goes. Like you're just an amazing dude.
I would love to put you under. I would love to maybe do something like that where we start like a mushroom project where we start having controlled studies where a person like me will be with you during your trip, and I will attempt to make conversation with the subconscious and see where that goes. Because if it produces the same result, but you can have more things happen because you're literally in that hypnagogic astral state due to drugs, and it's not through a technique. Does that make sense? Like you're already there, and I can open these realms and go deeper because these pathways and these doors are already open now. These without the drugs, these doors are closed. That's what these are. You open these windows, these pockets into other realities, and you can peek through them, or you can get immersed in them. Before we close real quick, the last dimethyltryptamine trip I had, DMT, was with some really awesome people at an event in Treasure Island. I think it was like St. Pete. And it was one of Dylan Monroe's events with a Deep State Mapping Project. And we all basically did DMT on the beach till like 7 o'clock in the morning. It was all night.
That's amazing.
When I did it, I seen the grid for the first time. And it is not like they describe. It is not like a checkerboard kind of fixed pattern. It is geometries upon geometries upon geometries, and they are all spinning simultaneously. It is freaking intense. So yes, I definitely recommend people do dimethyltryptamine, DMT, vape it, smoke it. It's a 15-minute trip, and it rips a hole through time and space, and you get to witness what human potential can achieve.
Yeah, and also we're not given any medical information because I know YouTube can get sensitive about that. Like, you always do your own research. Like, I'm not promoting any drug use or anything like that. Like, always do your own research and find what resonates with you. I think that's the best way. But no, I think you're exactly right.
That's a good thing to say. That's a perfect thing to say.
And somebody asked, there's no information for us in the links. That's because we had to switch over for people that didn't watch this from the beginning, we had an interference from StreamYard. I had all the links in StreamYard. I had everything that I usually put in here in StreamYard, and then we got interfered with. So we had to switch over to Zoom real quick just to do the show. But I'm going to put all the information and the links in the description after this is over. So, because Zoom doesn't let you do that. So that's why that is, guys. But yeah, that's amazing. And I'd love to be your test patient. I'll do it. Like we can definitely try that for sure.
We just need to get to some events that we're doing together or something like that. I will be at Stairway to the Stars in Vegas. I think it's next month. And I'll be at the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection next weekend in Orlando. So if anybody wants to come in, meet me, that would be really cool. I love meeting new people constantly, man. Like, it's some of the most amazing people, these events, man. And everybody has some kind of deep connection to something. Like, every time I stereotype someone at some event, there's some major person and they've had extraordinary experiences. So like, I talk to freaking everyone.
That's amazing. Well, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you and how they can book a session with you and stuff like that? And
yeah, everybody can find me on fractaloflight.com. That's my hypnosis website. Go down that rabbit hole. It's really cool information. I do a lot. And like Rob was saying, my bio is pretty intense. Like I tried to write like a short bio for the first time, but like it's hard because it's like you're an Encyclopedia Britannica up here, and like I don't specialize in like one or two modalities. It's like I specialize in everything, and it's pretty crazy to have that kind of wheelhouse and that kind of access to that information. But my Facebook is just Drago Reid, and my Instagram again, Drago Reid, black and white photo of a tattooed couple, and that's the easiest way to find me.
That's fascinating. And just to let people know, you do tattoos and piercings too, right?
Yeah, 23 years I've been tattooing and piercing.
That's
Tampa,
fascinating.
Florida.
That's cool. And I'll put all the links in. And just on my end, guys, I just wanted to say, if you found value in this conversation, try to support the podcast. I appreciate everybody watching, but we're a viewer supported program. So it's like almost like a value for value. If you find value in this, then try to support. And I know everybody can't, because let's face it, we're in like tough times right now. We're probably in the toughest time ever in humanity, but we're also in the most amazing time too, where we can have this kind of information come out. So, if like I said, but, and thank you, Drago. This was amazing. And thank you everybody for tuning in tonight.
It was a pleasure, man. I'll come out anytime you need me.
All right.